You're not behind. I know it feels like you are. Like everyone else your age has already figured it all out. The career, the marriage, the house, the kids, and you're just still here, still trying to figure it out. Let me tell you the truth right now. That schedule that you feel like you've missed out, that you've been measuring yourself with, it's fake. It's not real. Somebody made it up. So you've been beating yourself half to death trying to keep up with this clock, trying to meet these milestones that weren't even real to begin with. Today, I'm going to show you where this clock came from and why it's a lie. And I want to tell you where you actually are right now in life because it's not too late. Like, you're going to hear me say that a lot. It is not too late. You're not late. See, the first thing I want you to know is that you're not the only one that feels this way. You feel like you're the only person on the planet that doesn't have it all together. Everyone else seems to have gotten the memo and you missed it. Like, the truth about it is almost every human being alive has that exact same feeling. They feel like they're all behind. Like there's some checklist that they're supposed to mark off by their 20s, their 30s, their 40s. And then we all feel like we're failing. See, look around. You're going to see some people that seem like they're ahead in their career, but still trying to figure out their marriage. You're going to see some people who have kids, but can't figure out their job. You're going to see some people who finally got that relationship and they have relationship goals and all those good things, but they're still trying to heal from the last relationship they were in. Like everyone's ahead somewhere, somehow, and behind somewhere else. Nobody has it all together. We all have fallen short. And that idea that you're the only one is not true. That's a lie. That's the first lie you have to understand. You're not behind. You're in the same boat as every other person. So let me show you where this actually came from. Like, it has an actual name. It's called the social clock. Back in the 1960s, a psychologist by the name of Bernice Newgarden found something interesting. She discovered that every society on Earth has this invisible checklist. Here in America, you got the graduate by 22, married by 25, kids by 30, midlife crisis by 50, and retirement at 65. And everybody walks around trying to believe that they have to hit these milestones at a certain age, but never stop to ask, where do these numbers even come from? Who decided that this is how it's supposed to go? And here's where society came up. Society came up with it. Society made it up. And most of these things were actually developed some 50, 60, 100 years ago, where life was completely different for people. People were not living as long as they live now. So they felt like they had to hit those milestones because life was even shorter. But here you are torturing yourself, telling yourself that you got to figure it all out, telling yourself even in your 20s it's already too late, telling yourself in your 40s that you've already missed the boat, you might as well give up. You made mistakes and you can't recover now. And it's not true. You're making yourself miserable over this checklist that some people that you never met made up, told you that this is how it's supposed to go, and they made it up over 100 years ago, where they didn't even have the technology or the things that you have today. And the pressure that to be on time that you placed on yourself is not the truth. It's just conditioning. And this is where it needs to end. It needs to end today. See, now what makes it worse is social media. Social media makes it even worse. Why? Because social media shows people's best moments. You see their promotion posts. You see the wedding photos, the pictures of the vacation, the new house that they got. And then you stack all that against your regular Tuesday. And of course, when you do that, you're going to feel like you're losing. But listen, what you don't see is the nights that they cry themselves to sleep. What you don't see is the fights and the arguments outside of that wedding picture. The things that they have behind closed doors at home. What you don't see is the fact that they took that vacation, but they used several credit cards to pay for that vacation. Now they're in debt. That's what you don't see. That's what social media does not show you. See, hear this really clear. You're comparing your reality to someone's highlight reel. You're comparing your raw, unfiltered behind the scenes to their best moment that they caught on camera. And honestly, that's not fair. When you keep on comparing yourself, your real life, the race that you're running to someone else's race, it's going to steal all your joy. The Bible even says that. Comparison is a thief of joy, of all joy. The second that you start running someone else's race, watching what they did, you start losing in your own race. So don't look at someone else, look what someone else is doing. That was God's plan for them. That was his design for their life. You got to tap into what he has designed for yours. But we spend so much time scrolling, looking at other people, looking at what they're doing, and constantly putting ourselves deeper and deeper into this pit of despair that we're not where we should be in life. Now, let me give you this, because I want you to reframe how you think about this. The thing about it is, it's not that you're behind. It's you need to step in line. And now you're in line. You're not behind. You're in line. What do you mean by that? Understand that everyone talks about feeling behind, the pressure that you feel, but no one talks about when you actually start. When you're up next. I understand that there are people that had a better start than you did. Some people started with money. Some people had better schooling. Some people had a better home life than you did. Does not mean that they had more potential than you. You got to reshape it. Like the things that you've been through, your life struggle, the fact that you didn't start with a leg up like some other people actually makes you better. It actually makes you more equipped than them. But because you're comparing your day 2 to their day 360, you feel like you're behind. You feel like you're losing. And then next thing you know, you're still on day 2 and it's been a year because you're spending all your time comparing to someone else's. Hear this warning. If you keep believing that you won't live up to your potential, you're right. That's literally how it goes. If you keep believing that you won't live up to your potential, you're right. If you keep on looking at someone else and what they're doing and seeing how successful they are, comparing yourself, your life to theirs and feel like you won't make it, you can't reach what they have achieved, you're right. You can't. And you won't. Because you're too busy not understanding that you're next up in line. But in order for you to be next up in line and able to achieve or take the opportunity, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready. You have to be putting yourself in a position to receive what God has for you. But you can't do that when you're too busy looking at someone else's race. When you're too busy, you're over here in lane 4 and you're over there looking at lane 8. Next thing you know, you're in lane 8 and nobody's running the race in lane 4. You disqualified yourself already. Let me tell you, let me tell you someone that I look as an inspiration when it comes to something like this. Samuel Jackson didn't start acting, his acting career, until he was 40 years old. Not his acting career took off when he was 40. Started his acting career when he was 40 years old. And that same man has been in more of the highest grossing films than any other actor in human history. He started when he was 40, when he was in his 40s, he started. And he's been in more films than anyone. He holds the record for the most films that anyone has acted in. He holds the record for most box office films that he's been in, that anyone has ever acted in. It wasn't too late for him at 40. Because he wasn't paying attention to what anybody else has. He wasn't looking at Sidney Poitier. He wasn't looking at man, I wish I had Denzel. Man, Denzel over here. No, he wasn't looking at it. He was running his own race. He ignored all of the other stuff that everyone else was saying that he was supposed to be doing, when he was supposed to do it, how it was supposed to get done, and just locked in and ran his own race. And if it wasn't too late for him at 40 to literally change his whole entire life, start from zero, start from scratch at 40, I know that sounds hard and crazy. Even me now, myself, wanting to start at 40, doing something new that I've never done before, it's scary. And it feels like I'm too late. I get that. But then when I look at someone like him, who is still acting, I mean, he is a A-list actor. He can pick and choose whatever he wants to be in. Because it wasn't too late for him. And if it's not too late for him, it's not too late for you. You don't need your family's approval to start. You don't even need their support to start. You just need to start. You just need to do it. You need to go for it. Now, I want to talk to some of you because some of you feel like you're doing all the things that you should be doing. Like you feel like you've been putting in all the work and you feel invisible. You feel like you've been forgotten. You feel like you're left behind because you're unseen. There was a woman in the Bible by the name of Hagar. And Hagar was cast out by her master and her master's wife into the wilderness with her son. And she felt rejected. She felt like nobody cared about her. And she felt like no one really sees her. And she's cast out into the wilderness. And I want to understand in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when they say wilderness, they mean the desert, in the wilderness, whatever situation you are in where you're just in the elements of the world. You're in the wilderness, the wilderness. And so she was cast out into the desert, and she was just preparing to just die, pretty much. Die of dehydration and starvation. And she thought that she was completely invisible. And in her lowest moment, she prayed. She prayed to God, and God met her there in the desert, in the wilderness, at her lowest moment. And then she gave God a name that no one else uses in Scripture. She's the only one that uses this name. She called him El Roi, which means the God who sees. And I want you to understand that in this moment that you feel like you're behind, in this moment that you feel like you're late, in this moment that you feel like no one sees you in the struggle that you're going through and dealing with all that you're dealing with, God sees you, and he knows exactly where you are. You're not late, you're in line, and you're up next. So even if you feel like you are in the wilderness right now, you feel like you're invisible, you feel overlooked, you feel like no one ever notices the things that you are carrying, I need you to know, just like Hagar knew, you are seen. You're seen by him, not just by people. You're seen by God. He's never missed you. He's never overlooked you. He understands where you are in life. He understands that this is what you want to do, and you feel like you're late, and you feel like you can't do it. But if you put your trust in him, trust me, he sees you. El Roi sees you because he's a God who sees. He knows who you are. He knows your situation. So the pain that you've gone through is not unnoticed. The prayers that you have put up are not unheard. You're not too far gone. You're not too lost to be found. You are seen. You are known, and you are held by him. And I want you to understand that you're not too late. You're right on time, as a matter of fact. Right on time for the one who sees you. So let's make this clear. Now let's give you the actual thing that actually fixes everything, because like I said before, you're in line. You're in line to be next. Because everything that I've given you probably may change how you feel, but let me change what you do. Okay? You're not behind, and you feel like you are. And it's because you're looking around at everyone else. But hear me, you cannot gauge where you are in your own process by looking at other people in their process. Now, stop looking at them and understand what you need to have. You need to have clarity. Clarity in the vision for your life, not their life, not the life over there, not his life, her life. You need to have clarity for your life. Because this is how this works. When you get clear on where you are going, when you get clear on the plan that God has for you specifically, you're going to notice that you are put into a place for the first time where you can actually gauge what is going on in the process. You're going to see that the anxiety that you have because you felt behind is going to dissipate, because now you have clarity on your own path and you understand where you are in your path. You understand, okay, I'm on my path, but I'm only on day 3. I'm only in the beginning. And so everything is going to take time. Everything that's worth having is going to take work, effort, and patience. And I know that's hard to have because I feel like we live in this instant microwave society. That person that you've been looking at and following or whatever case may be on social media, to achieve what they had, it took them time. They didn't, you know, I mean, some of them may have had money or whatever, help from family or whatever case may be, but even then, it's still effort for them to do that, to keep it, to hold it, to maintain it. But for the most part, and most people in society, because most people do not come from that, most people who are successful do not come from millions and millions of dollars of wealth in their family. They don't. Most of them come from the grind that they had to do themselves. So when you understand that you have to have clarity on the path that God has laid before you, and once you have that clarity, it helps you to step in the path that He has for you to go. You start building the plan. Now that I have clarity on the plan, I can now build the plan. I can now put things in place for me to move forward in my success. So I know where I'm heading. I know the direction now. The thing about it is we get scared because we feel like God should give us the whole outlook. We want to see the whole picture of how this goes. We want to see how I'm supposed to be successful, but He doesn't always give us that. He gives us a glimpse into the vision, and then He tells us to walk in it. So we want God to show us the next 20 years. But the truth of the matter is, He's only going to tell you, I'm going to show you the next 20 minutes. And if you can be faithful in the next 20 minutes, you'll be exactly where you need to be. Like if you start putting your foot forward in the direction that He told you to go, one step at a time, you will achieve what He desires you to have. But you got to start. You got to stop looking at everyone else, and you got to start. I don't care if you're 40. I don't care if you're 50, 60 years old. There's people that I know who are in their 60s who started a podcast 2 years ago and are now successful. Because they just did, they knew what God told them to do. And they got clarity on the path, the plan that He had for them specifically. And now they're doing well. But they had to start. They knew they were next up in line. And next up in line does not mean tomorrow. Next up in line does not mean a month from now. For them, next up in line meant 2 years of consistency. And that whole time, in that 2 years, all they had to go off of was one step in front of the other. Like if you can just take that one step and then take another, and then take another, and then take another, before you know it, you've walked a mile. It just takes a step. You don't need the 20-year plan. You just need the next 20 minutes. What do I need to do for the next 20 minutes? And then after that, what do I need to do the next 20 minutes after that? And the next 20 minutes after that. And because trust me, life is going to pass you by anyway. Life is going to come, God willing, if it's God's plan for you to continue to live, your life is going to come. But the question is, in what direction are you walking? In what direction are you running? Whose race are you running? So you're not behind. You're in the same boat as everyone else. And the clock that you keep measuring yourself by is fake. So throw that clock away. Throw those milestones away. And stop comparing yourself, your real life, your raw, unfiltered, authentic life to someone else's highlight reel on social media. You're not behind, you're in line, and you're up next. All you have to do, just like Samuel Jackson, if Samuel Jackson can start his acting career at 40 and become a legend, it's not too late for you. It's not. And if God found Hagar in the wilderness, about to die, accepting the fact that she was about to die, and still found her where she was at, he knows exactly where you are too. That anxiety that you have, it leaves today. It leaves the day that you stop running someone else's race and start running your own. Anxiety that keeps you stuck and stagnant and won't let you move forward because you're too busy focusing on them, him, her. It goes away the moment that you stop running their race and start running your own. You do that by getting the clarity that you need to have about your plan, your vision that he has placed on you, what he has called you to do. And then that helps you build that plan and take the first steps. The first 20 minutes. I'm not worried about the next 20 years. That's not up to me to decide. That's God knows that I don't. But if I have faith in God and I do the things he told me to do step by step, minute by minute, hour by hour, I know that I will achieve what he has placed in me because I'm following his orders and his direction. Whatever this is that has been keeping you following that clock, keeping you anxious about where you are in life and how you've been behind, put it in the comments. Like put it in the comments and say it out loud. Because this is, and I want you to tell yourself, I'm not late. Tell yourself, I'm not late. I'm on time. I'm right on time. And I'm next in line. Share this video with someone that you know who has this anxiety about where they are in life. They feel like they haven't made it. And the thing that hurts me the most, it affects everyone at every age. People in their early 20s still feel this way. The same with people who are in their 60s and 70s. But the truth of the matter is, you are not late. You're not behind. You're right on time. Now take your time and just take the next step. That's all I have for you today. I know I'll ramble on and kind of, I'll do that if I kind of get passionate about something. But I want you to understand, like, I'm here for you. And every day, every week, I want to go deeper in you following the plan and purpose that God has set for you. We all have a purpose. We all have a plan that he has placed in us. And it doesn't matter where you are. It's never too late for God. If you feel like it's too late for you, just understand it's never too late for God. Never. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, I'm Minister Crush. Peace.